Hello guys, what's going on? Welcome back to my channel. I took some time after the game, like a couple of hours, just to process everything. And to be honest, I had to also feel my feelings and be a bit more open-minded about the situation, about the loss, and looking it from a bigger picture and what it really means, especially since we started the season how we started with 3 wins on bounce, a really good optimism. If you watched my previous 3 videos, you heard me speaking about the optimism that I had about the season. You heard me speak about the progression that I'm seeing, that we are all seeing, that we are showing this season. And now we lose 5-1 to Inter. So that's really shocking, to be honest. I wasn't expecting that. You can lose 2-1, you can lose 3-1. It's a derby. You're losing 2-1, chasing the equalizer, and the team scores the next goal. You understand, like, the 3-1. After 3-1, it's kind of an embarrassment, to be honest. And there are a lot of reasons for this. That's why I'm calm, and I'm also looking at this from a lot of perspectives. I may be right, I may be wrong, but what the truth will be revealed, especially on Tuesday as well. We will have to see a reaction. Let's start for the game. We in the 4th minute we conceded the first goal. Malik Tia just lost his balance, lost his composure, and what you want from your defenders, especially a young defender that doesn't have a good foundation in the game yet, what you want from a young defender starting in a derby is to show the attackers that I'm here to defend, and I'm, to put in some really hard tackles and to really be strong. So and the attackers will feel different playing during against that defender during the rest of the game. And Malik Tiab didn't do that. He fell to the ground. To Marcus Thuram laid the ball like in the box, and I don't remember, it was Çalhanoğlu or who was that made the pass. Lautaro, I think, made the pass to Mkhitaryan. Anyway, I don't care. But basically, we conceded too early. Mkhitaryan scored again against us. It was crazy. And right after that, like a couple of minutes later, or maybe even 5 minutes later, Mkhitaryan has another chance in the middle of the box with his head. I think he almost scores. He is not a prolific goal scorer, so. And I was seeing Calabria wasn't doing anything. We were defensively a shambles. First of all, the defense was nowhere to be seen. Kjaer and Malik Tiav, zero partnership, zero chemistry, zero understanding with each other, zero spatial awareness. It was all a big mess. So I didn't like how Kjaer played. I didn't like how Malik Tiav played. I didn't like our defense structure at all. Calabria was trying that thing that looked very smart at the last game against Roma, where he was like playing like a false 6 and he was more adventurous with his positioning. But come on, man, let's go to the basics. I understand now a lot of people are saying that, oh, Kronic shouldn't have started, this player shouldn't have started. Yeah, hindsight is a wonderful thing, but you started these players because these players won you the first 3 matches, and it was the best possible formation to start with, and everybody would select, like not everybody, but like 90% of the people, I think, of AC Milan fans and just football people would select this formation to play against Inter. Why would you change it? You won the first 8 games with this formation, worked very well. Now people, in hindsight, give Musa a start, give this player, why are we still starting with Krunic? I'm like, it's very easy to do that after the game has passed and you know the result and you've seen the performance. It's really easy to do that, but nobody predicted this. Nobody predicted this AC Milan team with these performances to lose 5-1 against Inter. It was an absolute disaster. And it comes here. The mentality was zeros. And where does the mentality start? It starts from the coach. The coach showed himself today. I'm sorry to say this, but the coach absolutely got revealed today. Pioli, I was always like on the fence with him. I always wanted I always had like this kind of positive energy about him. Like he plays open football and stuff. Because I like playing football, I like playing open football. I don't like managers like Mourinho, for example, but also to open football there is a logic, there is a mentality that you have, there is a intelligence that you should bring to your team. Open football doesn't mean just kick the ball around, leave stupid open spaces and get thrashed. That's not it. Open football means you defend together, you attack together, and you pressure the opponent to lose the ball, and you keep the ball as much as possible and create spaces, create chances, score goals, have more chance to win the game as you're keeping the ball more. But with Pioli mentality, we started the game, the mentality reflected on the start of the game. Okay, we concede the first goal, fine. Second goal, Marcus Thuram scores. The ball came from the top again. Inter with counter-attack, they are so efficient. They Marcus Thuram, I think he couldn't like be very direct, so he dropped the ball, he turned and he slowed down a bit. He had Malik Thiaw in front of him, and what did Malik Thiaw do? Instead of pressuring him to even shoot quickly or at least to try to dribble, Malik Thiaw was just staring at him and just was trying to see what he was doing. Marcus Thuram did like a few movements, a few body tricks, opened his body, shot. Maignan has no chance there. When you let that shot go past the defender, that kind of shot, no goalkeeper can save that. From that position, no chance. Malik Thiaw, second goal, still, again, his fault. I'm not saying he's a scapegoat or something, because we are going through everyone here. I mentioned about Kar as well, I will still talk about him, but with Malik Thiaw, the second goal was a disaster. Okay, 2-0. And we started to get some rhythm on the game. We started creating some chances. Theo had a really good chance. He could have squared it to Pulisic. I don't fault him for that because he had defenders. And when you're like there, it's easy for us to see from the TV, but when you're like there, you have defenders that maybe you don't see the player that you can square to, and at that speed, it's really hard to do that because you're like at a very fast pace and you're very near goal, so you just try to score. He couldn't anyway. We were showing very positive signs. We were pressuring Inter, and it was, but there is a mistake. you pressure Inter. Okay, you show the big team mentality that we are, and we want to, for that also to reflect on the game. But the big team mentality isn't only about attacking. The big team mentality is also about defending. The big team mentality is also about knowing that teams sit back so they can counter you. And especially teams like Inter that we know of. We lost 4 games before the 5th one today. It was crazy. We didn't score. We conceded like 12 goals in the last 5 games against Inter. We scored just 1. That's crazy. That's a derby. Even if you are not a very talented group, if you don't have a lot of talent in your team, a derby is a derby. We have seen many times Manchester United beat Manchester City. Manchester United being at their worst with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. They beating City at their own ground. So that's why a derby is a derby. Same with Tottenham and Arsenal. Tottenham hasn't been really good, and they beat Arsenal, for example, 2 years ago, I think 3-0 at their stadium. So you see these derby examples that you don't have to be a better team. It's a derby. It's a game that is played on calmness. It's a game that is played on like chess, with intelligence. It's not a game that is played on who has the better players. The better players are always a plus, but you can still win a derby even if you're not better than the other team. Anyway, because I'm also all over the place with this game. I'm reading so many stuff, I'm seeing so many stuff, I have my own opinions about it, and it's really such a confusing, is it a wake up to reality for Milan, or is it like a big bump on the road that will serve us for better? It will humble our players to really work more. Is it like the effect of the international break that they didn't have a lot of time to prepare on the training? It was the same for all teams, but is it especially this for our team, since we had a lot of new players? Our midfield, it's like completely brand new besides Krunic. But yeah, we will come to that. So we scored a goal with we were showing that we are better than you in playing, and I always thought that we are better than Inter. But what Inter have is they are extremely efficient. They know what they're doing. They are like, their chemistry is so amazing. The moment that they have the ball, they have intent. They have purpose. They know what they're going to do with it. They know the patterns of play. They know their teammates' movements. They know if they have to attack or they have to keep the ball and be more patient. They know that. With us, it's such a mixture of things that you don't even know if there is a strategy, if there is a planning. This is why I'm getting back to Pioli now, because I didn't see anything from, first of all, from a mental aspect, but also like from a game plan. What was the game plan? What was the game plan? Did we plan for this game at all? Did we have a plan? Or was it just like pass it around and let our best players and see if our best players can do something? Was there any instruction from Pioli after seeing the start of the game just to go about the game? I know that we played very well after after the 1-0, then Marcus Thuram scored. And okay, you have the dressing room then. The first half finishes, you have the dressing room. You are like, okay, fine, you have 15 minutes to ground, set yourself together, and just start the second half in a more composed, balanced way, and also more calm way. That's the manager's job. That's his job. The player's job is to execute what the manager wants them to do. So the second half starts. We score. It starts heavy raining. Leao scores, and you're like, oh, there is a glimpse of hope here. We scored, and I truly believe that we can win the game, not even equalize. I was like, okay, if we equalize till like the 65th or 70th minute, we can win this game. Oh my god. Then Mkhitaryan scores the third goal. Still the third goal, like the first three goals, Thiago is massively involved. What happens in the third goal? Lautaro Martinez, really fucking composed. Gets the ball, it's not high on getting the glory or anything. Stops, turns back. The other players that are countering, they arrive to the box. Just lays it to Mkhitaryan. Mkhitaryan, I think he took like 2 or 3 touches. 2, I think. Bam, shot. When you shoot, it can go in. The keeper can save it. You can get a corner. But he scored. And that's what is missing in Milan. We don't create those chances. We don't create a chance that there is a possibility that it will deflect and we will score. We don't create the chance at all. We are like, oh my god, we are like cross and hope that Giroud can add the ball and see if we can get a goal like from shooting from outside of the box or something like that, where we can even like shoot on target most times, at least for this derby. Sometimes you have to be very patient in the attack, very patient. Sometimes you really have to be very patient. You cannot just unlock a team without having a plan, without having that special thing that any big clubs with dangerous players have. That movement, that taking on a player, doing something different. You cannot just open a team with passes without any intelligence or creativity there. You can do that as well, but it's much harder to do it in a derby. It's very hard. A derby, you have to be the Leao of, I don't know, was it the last game that we won against Inter, where he cooked Skriniar? But we need to have those moments, not just from Leao. He was very bad today. He was terrible today. He scored, but he was very bad today. Nobody was good today. Nobody was good today. Loftus-Cheek showed some good glimpses in the first half. I was like, oh, physicality, some good movement, some good dribble. Second half, dead. Didn't listen from him. Didn't see anything from him. I wasn't like sure if we had a midfield. Reijnders was hurrying every pass. The Reijnders that I think that he has a potential of becoming a world-class midfielder. He showed in a big game that he's yet not ready to take that, to own that midfielder that he has in him, because we can see it from an eye test. He has the talent, but he was hurrying the passes. He was hurrying his decision making. He wasn't like really. He wasn't more patient with the ball. It was like everything. You can see that he was a player that he was. It was a debut of a midfielder on a Derby della Madonnina. You can see that in him. And Loftus-Cheek, you didn't see that in him, but Loftus-Cheek looked kind of lost. He was like, oh my god, am I playing in this midfield, or will I do anything? You didn't see anything from Loftus-Cheek, and that is why we need more balance in the midfield, especially with Krunic being such static player. Look, Krunic is he gives you what you see. It's nothing special. He's a very static six that defensively is amazing, but you cannot change a score line when you're losing 1 or 2-0 with a Krunic in the midfield. In these kind of cases, Ben Arcer would be very good. I still don't know what Musa is all about. He looked a bit out of place when he came in, but I understand we're losing 5-1. You're putting in a young player to play in the derby, just like with Chukwueze. I didn't expect to see anything, to be honest. 5-1, it's... What? Was it 4-1? Anyways, it's the same. It doesn't matter, like... I'm not putting any pressure on those players, because at that scoreline it was like, whatever, you know. Yeah, whatever. It wasn't like the other players around were helping them. That wasn't the case. We looked like a team with no idea. We were not. We were confused with the ball. We didn't know what to do with the ball. We were passing around the ball, going back to the defenders, and still trying to make some passes. We didn't have a game plan. It wasn't like, oh, this is how Milan plays. It wasn't like, you didn't see like how Milan plays. You didn't see any tactic. You didn't see any real preparation. It was Leao looked like he didn't know what to do with the ball. Players in general looked like they didn't know what to do with the ball. It was crazy, man. It was crazy. So with Kjaer as well, we should sell him. He's a good like 5th defender to have, but the 5th, like the defender that should be there just for his experience and for the dressing room, more like Florenzi is. But those kind of players shouldn't play. You should have a lot of fucking injuries to play those players. Our Kjaer is like our 3rd choice now. It's like a 2nd or 3rd choice, you know. So it's baffling. We really should be changing this culture in the team and have players that are of experience to be more like on the role that Zlatan was. He wasn't necessarily playing. I'm not talking about the 1st or 2nd season, but more like the latter. And that's it. You shouldn't be playing this player. Like Kjaer, his pace was... He was trying to push Lautaro just so Lautaro doesn't run past him, you know. So yeah, man, it's crazy. I'm definitely worried about our defending, and about our defenders. I still have like a belief in the midfield that they can gel more. They can build something, because it's still early in the season. I still have that belief with the midfield. I still have the belief with our attack. We have also more options to come off the bench for attack if first team players are dropping stinker after stinker. But I don't think that will be the case. But yeah, I'm very worried about the defense, actually. I don't know if Tomori is that gap that we are missing. I don't. You've heard, if you have, my thoughts about Tomori as well. I don't think he's anything special. He's a good, really good defender, but I think it's all in his mind as well. He is a player that's usually panics, and yeah, it's a bit like a rash player, you know. It's not like a player that brings you a lot of calmness. So I don't think Tomori was a gap for today. In general, we have to be much better defensively. Calabria, not good enough for this team. Theo Hernandez, dropped a stinker. He was too much trying to go to the attack, but defensively, nowhere to be seen. His decision making. I would say Theo Hernandez was a version of Reijnders in left back today, hurrying with every ball, trying to do something that he even himself didn't think about what he's trying to do. He was just trying to run. He was just making unthought passes, seeing a player having an Inter player behind him. He was passing to that player. We were losing the ball. He had 18 ball lost possessions. He lost the ball 18 times. He lost possession 18 times. That's a lot. Like Kjaer had, I think, 9, which is a lot for a center back. But Theo Hernandez had like double more. And that's very bad. I rate him attacking. I rate his attacking side a lot, but yeah, I don't know. It was a very confusing performance. I really am shocked in a very bad way, in a very negative way. I didn't expect this coming. These players look like Serie B players. They didn't know what to do with the ball. And when I see the entire team dropping that stinker, it goes to one man. It's the manager. It's a manager. It comes from a mentality. Do you think a Pep Guardiola team would actually, even if they are losing, do you think that they wouldn't know what to do with the ball? They wouldn't know how to string passes together. They wouldn't. Leao was literally not being able to have a good first touch. He was trying to dribble the ball. The ball was going away from his feet. Leao, imagine. Like their heads were not in the game. Their heads were not in the game in the second half. In the first half, cool. But that's why a manager is there. To keep the team focused during the entire game, not just in moments. It's all good to have good players. It's all fantastic to have world-class players in your team, even though I don't have any. But you need to be in the game. You need to be focused. You need to be strong mentally. They were so scared. They were so scared. They were like, after the first goal, I think semi-final Champions League matches, they reminded those matches. It was like PTSD, like a instant memory, and the rest is history. We got humiliated. I don't know what will happen. It's all on Pioli now. We have to win against Newcastle. We have to win against Verona. We have to win like the next 3 games, all 3 wins, for this to be a bit forgotten. Even though it will be forever there in the history, but we need to really have some good results in the next 5 games to really just like start all over again. Even though it's not the end of the world, but what I'm most worried about is the mentality. How this game will affect the players' mentality and that dressing room. Because if that dressing room starts becoming toxic after this win and players start blaming the coach or start blaming each other, whatever the case may be, I hope it's not. This will make us fail this season. We will completely fail this season. We won't do anything in the Champions League or in the league. So, yeah, I mean, that Champions League first game, we need to win. And I don't want to see a win against Newcastle where we are struggling, like winning at the end, at the last 10 minutes, 2-1 or something. We're at home. Let's win 3-0 or something. Let's have a good performance on top of that as well. Let's have this Inter game not forgotten, but like, let's have this this calmness after the Inter game. Let's have this first release. Oh, okay, we won the Champions League. Let's get back now to playing how we just played. And especially getting a draw or losing from Newcastle, that would be a complete disaster, I swear. Because Newcastle, like from 2003, is the first time getting back in the Champions League. They're playing in San Siro. They don't have a lot of experience, Champions League experience in their team. Who is there? Like Sven Botman, Tonali, who will not probably play. That's it. All of the rest, they don't have any Champions League experience. And yeah, Trippier, I think, has a Champions League experience as well. But nevertheless, we have to beat them. And we have to beat them very convincingly. Like, the game should end in the first half. We should score 2 goals in the first half and like score a third one probably in the second half, like to get them on a counter attack or something, whatever. We have to win very convincingly. I won't be happy if we just win like 1-0 or 2-1, just barely, and let's do defensive mistakes, and Newcastle doesn't score because they just are not very efficient, or their finishing is weak, and it's on them because they didn't win. We shouldn't be letting that happen. We should definitely keep a clean sheet, score 2 or 3 goals, have a good performance, overwhelm Newcastle, and yeah, have a bit of positivity to this upcoming week. Again, I mean, yeah, that's all I have to say for this. Also, some things that I'm seeing from my notes here as well, like Giroud should absolutely do better from that free kick that he had, like in a 42nd minute. Oh my god, he skied it. He was like 20 meters from the goal. That shouldn't happen. Those are the stuff that we have to really work on our game. Efficiency. When we cannot create the big chances like Inter did today, we have to take those chances. We have to take that Theo Hernandez chance. We have to take the Giroud free kick. We have to be very clinical. We cannot let it slip. We cannot let those brilliant, lucky moments to sleep. We can't. And yeah, man, when it comes to our wingers, Leao definitely should take more responsibility. Definitely a lot more responsibility. Pulisic, quiet again. He was quiet in the rest of the games as well. I told you, he was quiet. He had really good moments and some good plays throughout those games, but he was quiet. He was quiet again today. We have to really consider starting Chukwueze. We have to really, Pioli has to do something. I would still start Pulisic in Champions League. This is a Champions League. It's a bit different. You're playing against an English team. It's not like the Italian league. The Champions League game is a bit different. So I would still start the team that we started today. But if it's going to shit like it did today, not just like score-wise, I'm not talking about that. That would be a disaster. Just like the performance-wise, and we are not doing anything, not threatening or something, you have to change it in the first half immediately. I'm kind of like doing a preview to Newcastle game. That's crazy. That's how much I want to that the Inter game go off my mind. It's funny. Yeah, Leao needs to take more responsibility. He shouldn't be waiting for the ball to come to him. He should be going to get the ball. He should be there. He should be there for the ball. He should be showing up. If he wants to be that world-class player, be that player that needs to be included in the Ballon d'Or list, he needs to improve in this. And I was going to do a video about Leao, but about the Ballon d'Or, but you know what? I probably will not do it. Yeah, I probably will not do it. Because maybe the list is right. Because obviously Leao didn't win trophies and stuff. He had some really good performances last season. Some really world-class performances. But yeah, Leao definitely needs to take more responsibility. He definitely needs to show up. The last season, the same talk was that he is inconsistent. Let's change this. Let's not be the same player this season as well. Inconsistent FC. Let's change the narrative. Yeah, and yeah, man, we need to definitely increase the pressure, especially in these games. Yeah, when people cannot control the ball, don't know what to do with the ball when it comes to their feet, that's on manager, that's on the system. Everybody looked lost today. And what else I can say? What else? I don't know if I left someone. I mentioned the only player I think I didn't mention was Oliver Giroud. His link up game was good. I mentioned the free kick. That's a moment, but that's all we can do. If the rest of the team is not playing, which in case nobody played well, yeah, we can't be having that performance again. The team really needs to show up. I don't know if I left someone without mentioning. Mentioned Loftus-Cheek, Reijnders, Kroonic, the midfield. I mentioned everybody, man. Yeah, this was from me. This was like an analysis after I calmed down after the game. I just saw it a bit from a bigger picture. It's not the end of the world. It's like the fourth game. We lost the game, but let's hope this doesn't impact to the next, to the rest of the season. Hopefully it's not a domino effect. Hopefully we can get back. Hopefully we can show the strength in mentality that is all about what this badge is, what this team is. So yeah, I believe in this team. I really do believe in this team. I think we have something really good there, but we just have to spark it. And who is the person to do that? I don't know, but I'm assuming he's a manager, and I'm assuming it's a mentality that he emanates throughout the team, and that is for the players to receive without any resentment, without any personal experience. It's all for the team. It's all for AC Milan. So like, comment, subscribe to this video. Thank you guys for watching. Let me know what you thought about this game in the comments. If you agree or disagree with what I said during this long video. And yeah, I will see you the next time.